Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Grue Rume. And for the Grue Rume today, we got a very great guest, a pro wrestler, bodybuilder, Johnny Moran. I'll have him say his name when he comes on. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Rume. And as soon as Johnny gets in the room, we will go live with him for the interview. We'll talk some wrestling, some working out, some fitness, and it's going to be a fun time. So as soon as Johnny gets in the room, we will go live with him, and the interview will start. So how's everybody doing tonight? I see we definitely got some people on. What's up, Jay? Just waiting for the guests to come in, Jay. All right. So how's everyone doing tonight? Just waiting for our guest of honor to get in here, and we'll start the interview. He's a pro wrestler. I know I'm waiting for AEW too. It's gonna be a fun night. As soon as I'm done the interview, Jay, I'm gonna go on and watch the show, watch AEW. I have to shave, my beard's getting too thick. There we go. Okay, Johnny, all you have to do is hit the request to go live button, and you should be good to go. There we go. Right, now all we need is the internet to put us through, and everything will be good. Oh, I'm going to watch it, Jay. Don't worry.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Get this straight. Good, I need to shave, too. It was funny you were just
Yeah. Yeah, this is, I never make it like this thick. I just got lazy and didn't want to shave, and
I'm actually filming. I'm filming something, so I need to grow a mustache, and I don't want to grow like a huge, like creepy mustache just alone, because like everything I grow is massively thick. So I'm super Italian, so I just have massive amounts of hair, Yeah, like my back is disgusting if I don't go at it.
Oh, trust me, I know I know the feeling. I'm Italian too, and every time you shave the hair, it comes back within a day.
Even thicker, right?
Exactly. What are you doing? Are you filming like a film or TV or something?
I mean, I guess I could tell you about it. It's we did a skit at the Sanctuary. It was called Trajan's Best Day. And so Trajan's Nightmare is going to be me as him. And then he's like going to wake up. Like he's going to be in his nightmare. And then in his nightmare, he's me and I'm him. So he has like a nice little light blonde mustache. So I'm going to have this huge, like thick mustache. And his tag team partner is going to be like, oh my God, like your mustache is even better. Like,
nice. It's awesome. So, like, the first question I wanted to ask you, Jay, it does sound awesome. The first question I wanted to ask you is, what made you love the great sport of wrestling?
What made me fall in love with it? I've been watching it since I was a little kid. My older brother was always into it, so like he's 10 years older than me, so like everything, like I had all his like hand-me-down toys, like all of his like he had like Saturday Night Main Event like videotaped and all that. So
yes.
I grew up like watching stuff that was before I was even born. So like it just kind of was always there for me. And then like just even going through life, like I'm not gonna lie, I probably didn't watch wrestling for like, everybody goes through that phase where they're just like pretty much like into girls or whatever you're like doing, like you're into your little cliques and not paying attention to wrestling at that time. And even then I would always make time to like catch up on it. I wouldn't tell anybody I was watching it, but I'd be like,
yeah. That's really funny. You said that there was a period of time when you hid the fact that you were a wrestling fan because you didn't want your friends or all the kids to start teasing you.
Right. You were like the in crowd didn't like wrestling, so it was kind of like a secret.
Exactly,
And then
exactly. That's
like
how it was.
if somebody like brought wrestling up or like whatever it was, you would kind of just be like, "Oh yeah, you like wrestling too?" And it was like a secret
Right.
society that you were in there,
Exactly. That's
you
how
know?
it was. Jay asked, like, which who did who did you love to watch growing up as a kid or teenager or
Um, as a kid, it was probably Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Um,
nice, nice.
Once I started to like, I don't know, I would say like probably towards like, like 10, 12. Like I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. Even
Of
actually as a little
course.
kid, because I didn't know who he was, but he had like blonde hair and he had like the Dragon Slayer trunks and
Yeah, that's
boots.
right. That's right.
So I would
That's right.
before I knew he was Steve Austin, I didn't know his name. I just remember seeing him on WCW Saturday Night, watching it at my
Yeah, with the long
grandma's.
blonde hair. Yeah.
Right. So I told my
Hmm.
mom, like every Christmas from then on, I was like, "Can you get me the Dragon Slayer toy?" They don't even make it.
I
Um,
know.
so I would always tell my mom, I'm like, "I want the Dragon Slayer guy," and she'd be like, "Who the hell are you talking about?" Like she didn't know their names in the first place, and like she's going through a toy store looking for like Dragon Slayer, throwing toys left and right, trying to find this guy that's called the Dragon Slayer. So I would say overall, like my favorite wrestler of all time would be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Wow, so you were really a fan of his. Like anytime
Mhm.
you watched
It,
him when he
it,
had the long blonde hair,
man,
stunning Steve Austin, Hollywood Blondes, and all that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it was funny because like I didn't even know that was Steve Austin at that time, and then like getting older, like I randomly, I think one of his like VHSs or something had that on there, and I'm like, holy shit! Like
Is
that
that the
was the
same
guy I
guy?
always wanted. Yeah. Because like when he came to WWF, like he shaved his head, like the hair
Yeah.
was all gone, and
Yeah.
like I remember seeing him in ECW, but he was wearing a bandana.
That's
Like it
right.
didn't
That's
click for me that it was the same guy that's called Steve Austin. I just knew him as Dragon Slayer guy because I was little.
right. Nice.
Yeah.
And what about now? Like, is there any wrestlers you currently like now? Like either in AEW or WWE?
Yeah, I mean Randy Orton, Joe Coffey is like someone on my bucket list that if I can get in the ring with, I would love like when everybody asks me like who would you wrestle now, it would be Joe Coffey. Samoa Joe, I love Samoa
Yeah.
Joe. But yeah, like a lot of the current product, like I do like a lot of people. Yeah, Joe Coffey, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe. Uh, I think that's about it right now that like I could think offhand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me growing up, like my guys was always Randy Savage,
Oh
always
wow.
big, huge Macho Man fan, and Taker, Jericho, Sting, like
Oh, really?
they were like my guys, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good choices. I can't be against them, you know?
And what about like the bouts? Like, was there any matches that you really love to watch? Like me, like that one match is Savage and Ricky Steamboat. Like that, everyone talks about that match, and that's like one of my favorites. Like I could watch that over and over.
When I was a little kid, it was Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage and
Nice.
at Saturday night's main event with James Buster Douglas as the referee because it was supposed to be Mike Tyson, but then Mike Tyson lost in Japan, so it ended up
Yes.
being James Buster Douglas. I could literally like tell you that entire Saturday night's main event just because I've watched it so many times. That was like even now I could watch that match back and I still like go back to being a little kid. Um,
Nice.
Besides
Nice.
that, probably the I Quit match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin from
Definitely a
WrestleMania
classic.
13. Yeah.
Definitely a classic.
I mean, any of the trilogy between Austin and The Rock are like up
Hmm.
there with my favorites.
Yeah, that match with Austin and Brett, that would go down as like definitely one of the all time greatest
Yeah.
bouts. Like
Oh, hands down.
Austin was bleeding and
Yeah.
didn't tap out, just passed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, what? Uh, how did you get involved with pro wrestling? Like, who was the people that trained you?
I trained at a couple different places. So I started out at Backbreakers Training Center. I trained there for about a year, and then I moved on to the Sanctuary where I'm back at again.
Yeah.
That's owned by John Trosky.
Okay.
Then I also trained at PPW for a little bit with
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mikey Whipwreck and Tommy Swade. Also were the head trainers there. So I just kind of jump around every now and then, like try to learn a little bit from this person, learn a bit from that person. I don't think you should just stay at one place and learn from one person. I think you should roam around, like even if it's just like doing seminars after you like are trained, like
Exactly.
you could pick up things like I've done tons of seminars like Nick Aldis like taught me one of the moves
Oh
that I
yeah.
always use all the time. I did a Samoa Joe seminar and I always
Oh,
try
that's
to
sweet.
yeah, like I always try to like they always give you little tips and pointers and I always try to use them like even to this day.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
And like I actually did that training too. Like
Oh
I
wow.
used to wrestle. I don't wrestle
Oh,
anymore, but I used to do it like back in like 2004 to like 2012.
oh
And
wow.
yeah.
That's
And
awesome, man.
the like when you tell people you're going to school, the wrestling school,
Yeah.
they like snicker, but they don't realize how hard it is. Like when you go to wrestling school, it's not a walk in the park. Like
Yeah.
you train hard and you get blown up. Sometimes
Yeah.
you throw up. Like they put you through a whole bunch of stuff, and it's not easy.
No, not
It,
at all. Not at all. It's funny, like my mom will joke with me now that like I'll still like go to training schools and she's like, "Don't you know everything already? You've been doing this like 6 years." I'm like, "No, there's always more you can learn, you know?"
oh well, yeah, of
Yeah.
course, yeah. And I don't know if it happened to you too. Like when you were wrestling training, like the first few times you get into that ring and the trainer makes you run the ropes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you get that big rash, that
Yeah.
burn right under your
Yeah.
arm?
Yeah. I think everybody gets that burn because like you're not used to that. Like your body's not
Exactly.
used to that. So like you get that kind of callus on your lat
Exactly.
area.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember doing that. I was going home. I was waiting for the bus after I was done
Mm.
wrestling school, and I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong? And I'm looking
Yeah.
down, and I'm all like raw and bleeding, and I'm like,
Oh man.
shit.
Yeah. I have like super sensitive skin and like even like back I don't really tan now. Like there was a time that like I tanned a lot because everybody told me like you need to be tan to be a wrestler. So but then I started getting tattoos and I'm like I'm paying all this money for tattoos. I'm not ruining my tattoos.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
so I either put the fake tanner on or I don't put tanner on at all. So I'm
Okay.
like super duper white and like when that first time we like came out, like my lat was just like blood red. Like I knew
Yes.
immediately. I'm like, oh shit, like these ropes suck. Like,
I know. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
mhm.
Like I've seen guys like come in and you know they make you run and
Uh,
do laps and all that stuff and get in the ring and do your bumps and stuff and then like a lot of people would run out and throw up in the trash
oh yeah,
can or
oh yeah.
throw up on the floor and then you won't see them back again.
Oh no, definitely, definitely. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. But like out of all your like bouts you had,
Mhm.
what do you think which match do you consider to be like your best match or a match you really had fun doing?
Um, I would have to say probably I recently just had a match with HC Loke from ECW fame. And
Yes.
I was
Yes.
actually hurt during that match. I kind of got a stinger 2 weeks before that.
Ooh.
So like I couldn't feel like the thumb. And like if you saw the skit I uploaded today, like I talk about it a little bit there. We're acting like, oh, I can't wrestle this week because I got a neck injury. And
Mm-hmm.
I just had that match with him, and like I took a move, and like I felt my like finger tingle and my arm tingle, and
Ooh,
I'm like,
wow.
yeah, I'm like, we have to go home. And like
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was my last match or not. And then I like, I went and got an MRI and everything, and I'm okay. And everything's gonna be okay. But like that match always sticks out to my mind because like everything I
Mm.
did from that moment on was just in that match was like, if this is the last time you're gonna do this, this is how you're gonna do this. And then I remember like just standing on the stage and like looking out the lights, looking out at the crowd, looking out at John that trained me, like,
Yeah.
and I'm just sucking it all in because I didn't
Yeah.
know if I walked through that curtain, like this is the last time I walked through this curtain. So like I would say that match right now. I used to say it was me versus Hollow Wicked from Chikara fame,
Oh yeah, I definitely know him. Yeah.
because we had a killer match and it was the first time we met each other. Same thing with H.E. Loke though. We had a good match. It was the first time we met each other too. Like um, those two I always put up there. I also had a great match with a guy out of Connecticut. His name's Bobby Ocean.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a lot of great matches, but those three always stick out to me when people ask me.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that happened to me once too. Like
Oh, really?
when I was doing a match, like the now I can't remember who the guy was that did it. So they put me up for a pow, power bomb, and they
Yeah.
power bombed me, and the way they
Oh,
slammed me
jeez.
down, my neck hit like the ring first,
Oh, no.
and it sent like a shock through my body, and I was like
Yeah,
just
man.
laying there, and I couldn't
Yeah.
get up, and oh, talk about being scared.
Yeah.
Like I was just laying there and nothing was moving. Like I couldn't get up, and then after a few minutes, I was able to move around again. But that those couple minutes, I was like scared to death.
When the initial injury happened, like I was catching somebody on a dive, and I looked behind me because we were like really close to the fan. So when I
Yeah.
turned back to look at him, he was already in the air, so he was over my head. So
Oh.
my head went into my shoulder. So it went
Ooh.
like this, and like it just went fire right down my finger. Right, it
Oh.
stopped at my thumb. Yeah, it just was like straight fire down my arm. And I was like, oh God, like I'm just like trying to move my fingers and everything. I'm like, oh man, like is this over? Like,
I
I'm
know.
freaking out.
I
And
know. It's crazy.
yeah, and then like 2 weeks later I was wrestling Loke and I didn't think anything of it. And it came right back and I was like, oh God, I gotta get it looked at.
Yeah. Wow. Damn. No. Like stuff like that is scary. Like,
Oh,
you
very
know,
much so.
your arms heating up or tingling. Like you're
Yeah,
laying on the mat, you can't get up. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was and that kind of stuff happens. Like
Oh yeah.
when you go out there, you never know how it's
It
going to be. Like,
Yeah, none of this stuff was on purpose. Like nobody was trying to be
exactly.
like, yeah, like nobody was trying to hurt me.
Well, yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. And I was looking on your page, and one match that looked fun was you going against someone dressed as Michael Myers from Halloween.
What match was this?
I don't know. It
I
was someone. It was either someone was dressed as Michael Myers, and you were standing in the ring with them.
oh, no, 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 no. All right, so that was a joke. Uh,
Oh, okay.
so I was cracking my neck in the ring like this, and my one friend, he's also a professional wrestler.
Uh,
His name is Kit Raff. He literally like put the Michael Myers meme where he's like that. So like my one
oh,
buddy that is my producer on my podcast, and he's one of my close friends. He made that little like Michael Myers in the ring thing. Like that's actually Michael
okay.
Myers across from me doing the head tilt. Like that's what that was. I was like, man,
Gotcha.
who did I wrestle that was Michael Myers? And now like you saying it, I'm like, okay, okay.
Okay, here you
Yeah,
go.
so it was a little gag joke that somebody made.
And you also won some belts too, right? You're the
Yeah.
NYCW champion
Yeah,
and the
NYCW
Funhouse champion.
and the Funhouse. Yep. I recently just won the Funhouse. NYCW, I won. This is the show after the show I won it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was 2009, December of 2019. That's when I won that title.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And right now, currently, you're the
Yep,
the fun house champion, right?
yep, yep.
Uh,
Both of them.
oh, you're still the
Oh
other
yeah,
champion too.
yes, for
Oh
over a
wow,
year now. Yeah, yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And who did you wind up beating for both titles? Who did you wind up beating for them?
The NYCW title, it was a guy by the name of High Voltage Omar. He's finally getting his rematch, actually, September 11th. So
Okay,
this, like,
okay.
not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. And then I beat Tiger Moose for the Funhouse Championship Wrestling
Nice.
title. So,
Sweet, sweet.
yeah.
Well, can congrats on holding the title for
Thank you.
over a year.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Nice.
COVID had a huge contributor to it, but we won't give that accolade out.
True, true. And I also saw you're really big into working out and
Yep.
dieting and
Yep.
fitness and all that. How when did you start getting involved with that? Was it when you started wrestling?
No, I actually started lifting like back when I was like 15 years old.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, because at my high school you like were allowed in the weight room, but you weren't like really allowed in the room until you were like in ninth grade. So I was
Okay.
like 14 actually, I lied. But they had like a powerlifting team, and that's where I started. I started at like when I was 14. I used to do like powerlifting. I also did like track and field, so I did shot put, disc, and javelin. So I would like in the off season I would do the powerlifting with the coach that was there at the time. But recently I had a friend from college. Her name's Christina Marie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she lives out in Vegas. She like randomly messaged me and she was talking about keto to me, and then I really dived into the diet. She gave me a bunch of articles to read.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and yeah, it's literally put me in the best shape of my life. I really enjoy it. A lot of people hate it. I find it kind of easy, because like I kind of ate that way before, but now
Oh,
I'm just a
okay.
little bit more strict, you know.
So, like, what's your diet consist of? Like, what kind of foods are you allowed to eat? Not
I usually go high protein and like a higher fat content because that's where you're getting your fuel from.
okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like I have coconut oil. I'll just like put a spoonful in my coffee. Like
Nice.
it doesn't do anything for me. Like it doesn't bother me because I drink my coffee black. So like when I
Yeah.
put that coconut oil in, like it just makes my Maxwell House taste like coffee with coconut in it. So like I'm fine with that. Like that doesn't bother me at all.
Right.
And then like, you use a lot of oils and fats to like avocados, I'll eat a lot of.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really not that hard when you like break it down and look at it.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
And do you ever have cheat days, like where you'll pick out and eat like a cheesesteak or a pizza or something like that?
I call it an off-plan meal. I'll have one a week, but then like I'll kind of fast until like two
Mhm.
o'clock the next afternoon because I know like my body's got to like divulge all that crap that I just ate. So
Yeah.
like usually if I have like an off-plan meal or something like that, I'll do that usually for dinner. And then I'll kind of fast until about 2 o'clock the next day. So
Oh, wow.
I try to eat the like my off plan meal at around 6, and then I'll fast until about 2 the next day.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And like, do you work out at home or do you go to the gym?
No, I go to the gym.
Okay.
Like during COVID, I did what I could, working out here because I got bands. I have like a curl bar here, just bands and a curl bar. I have a treadmill, but like I don't I have a medicine ball that like I can do crunches on, but like I don't have like what I actually need to like work out because I like lifting weights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And unless I had a full gym here, like it's just not up to standard. You know?
Right, okay, yeah. And you also mentioned that you have a show, a podcast. What's the name of your podcast, and when did everything start?
So I do have a podcast. It's Moran and Friends. Literally, it started because it was COVID and I had maybe a show every month, maybe two shows every month.
Yeah.
So I was literally sitting at home and my producer, Alex Watt, like, he's one of my best friends. So I talk to him every day. And I'm like, man, like, I got to stay relevant. Like, how do I stay relevant? And he's like, well, you always said you wanted to do a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, I don't know any of the software. And like, I was like, I told him like I wanted to have like a cool graphic for like my guest and like I would want a clip from the show to
Gotcha.
preview and I would like to tape it and like then show it so I'll get more eyes on it. And he's like, well, I could do all that stuff. He's like, you just got to talk. And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
all right. So then, like, he's been producing my podcast ever since. We actually did a super secret show together that I can't reveal yet because it's not even ready. So, but it was film.
Okay.
It was filmed this past weekend. We had a lot of fun, and that has to do with my podcast. It's about as far as I can go with it. It's the
All
closest we'll
right.
get because I didn't even like say it on my podcast, but there's a super secret thing that I have coming out. Everybody pay attention to it. You'll see. But
Nice.
it does involve the podcast.
Okay, sweet, sweet. And would you want to like ever like get signed somewhere? Like, would you want to go to NXT or AEW Dark? Like, would you want to do something like that?
Yeah, of course. I would love to be on any of those. Even if it was like NXT UK or NXT Impact, NWA, AEW, WWE, Raw, SmackDown, any TV outlet I'd be completely down for, you know.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course. And I always ask my guests this when they're on the show because I run a horror site too.
Oh, nice.
Do you like horror movies? And if you
I
do,
do. I
okay,
do.
sweet.
Yeah.
So, what are some horror films you love watching?
I love all the classics.
Yes.
I'm a big like classics. Like I have literally all the Halloweens over there, all the Texas Chainsaw Massacres over in my like little DVD collection I have.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
all the Friday the 13th. I actually one time like I have like HorrorNet or something like that on my Amazon Prime, and
Okay.
I watched it was like an 8 hour thing on like all the or not all the Halloweens, all the Friday the 13th, and it's like 8 hours long. And like I watched it and like it told you everything about everything. Like they went through each movie. It was actually really, really good. If you have 8 hours to kill,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Oh,
They
yeah.
literally tell you every detail about every movie and why this one sucks and why like this guy didn't sign on here and like why
Right.
this guy was like screw this and I'm like, oh, all right, well this is why this is such garbage, like, you know.
Jay asked if you saw the trailer for the new TV series coming out of Chucky.
No, I
Like,
didn't. No, I didn't.
yeah,
I Chucky is the one that like I'm not gonna lie to you, I lack in seeing. I've seen Chucky 1, 2, and 3 because those are like the classics. I've seen
hmm,
Bride of Chucky. I
yeah.
don't think I ever saw Seed of Chucky.
You
Isn't
might
there
want to
like
skip that one.
isn't there yeah, but see I'll like no matter what, like even if they're like if I'm in it for the series, I'll watch them all. I'll see them
Okay.
all. So like even if it's terrible, I'll watch it and be like, "Oh, that was terrible." But like because like everybody shits on Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, that one.
That was one of my favorite ones.
You really like that one? A lot
I
of people
did.
crap on that one
I
because it
did.
like the little tattoo thing and all that. Um, But yeah, I saw the newer one that they had like it was kind of like almost like Apple or something's in it. Like the Apple brain is in it. Like it was smart, right? The
Yeah,
smart Chucky or whatever. It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
newest
yeah,
one.
yeah.
I
Like
didn't mind that one. I thought that one was actually pretty creative, you know?
that would have been good if it wasn't called Child's Play, if it was its own
Right.
separate movie.
True.
The thing that killed that, in my opinion, was they tried to make that Chucky, and that
Right.
wasn't Chucky.
Right. Also that iconic voice, not having that iconic voice of Chucky,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
That kind of killed it for me too. It was kind of like when they did the new Nightmare on Elm Street, and they didn't have
Yes,
Robert Englund's voice. Like it's just like
yes.
it's so iconic. Like it wasn't a bad movie to me, but like it didn't have that Robert Englund like because like that was the only voice you ever heard. So like ripping that away, it's like man, like all right, I'll give it a chance, but like it's not gonna
Hmm.
be as good as the one you grew up on.
Right, true, true. But the television series that's coming out of Chucky actually looks pretty good. Brad Dourif is back
Oh
as
wow,
the voice of Chucky again,
wow.
and Jennifer Tilly, she's
Oh
in
really?
it, and
Oh,
she's the bride, and so like all the old characters are in it. Plus, they're gonna have like a whole new line of like new characters and someone else
yeah.
that Chucky's gonna try to go after, and it's
Now,
some other boy he's going after.
where is it? Where do you watch it at?
Sci-Fi Channel
Oh, it's
and
on Sci-Fi Channel. Okay.
USA too. It, like
Oh, okay.
both channels are carrying the series.
This is why I didn't see it. I usually just go like right to Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon and stuff like that. Like that's why I didn't see the preview or anything. But
Okay.
yeah.
What about Halloween Kills? Did you see the trailer for that yet?
Oh man, that looks so good. I'm
It
so
does.
excited.
It
I'm
does,
so
yeah.
excited. I'm a huge Halloween fan. Like I'm so excited for the sequel.
My stepmom is in the room and she said that Jennifer Tilly is awesome, and she is.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. I agree.
And what do you what do you like doing during your free time when you're not
The free
wrestling
time
or
that I don't
working?
have,
Well, the time you don't have, yeah.
the free time I don't have, actually, like today, like my nephew was here. I just like spending time with my family. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, if I have free time, like that's usually what I'm doing. I usually like, text my brother. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, because like I don't get to see my family much. Like my weekends are basically shot because like every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm somewhere wrestling somewhere.
Well, yeah, of course.
So like I just try to get some family time. Like what kind of killed me this year, like I didn't like I really enjoy fishing. I didn't get to fish at all this year. I
Oh,
just been super busy. Like you know what I mean? Like if I could do one thing this year, it would probably be fish. Um,
okay.
so fishing, seeing my
Okay.
family, you know.
And what about songs? Like, what's on your playlist? Like,
Man, you'd laugh if you saw my playlist. My playlist is like everything. I listen to everything, so like people will be in my car and they like go ape shit because like
yeah.
the problem is like it'll switch from country to rock to rap to pop to new wave, like classic song. Like I have like orchestra stuff on my like on
Really?
my show. Yeah, like and like
Oh,
I
wow.
I used to have a bunch of like stand up on there too, but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when you press shuffle, like you'll be listening to like a song and like maybe two songs will be great and then out of nowhere it'll be a stand up routine and I'm like I got to delete all this stand up. Next time like I want to listen to something I'll just like put the stand up album on
Yeah.
like you know because when I hit that shuffle like that's what I like though. I just like listening to all different kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I'll listen to anything that's out. And
Yeah.
my like favorite kind of music is like rock and roll.
Yeah.
But I'll listen to pop and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, I'll listen to anything.
Yeah.
And my stepmom, who's in the room, likes the bluegrass. Is that what they
Bluegrass,
call
okay.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I have some
yeah,
bluegrass on there.
yeah.
I'm okay with that. My
Yeah,
one
she
good
likes
friend.
that Leonard Skinner and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. That's on there. I got that on there.
And is there anything like coming out next? Like anything you want to push or plug? Any matches you got coming up? Or
I have Frontier Wrestling this Saturday. Sunday, I think I'll be at the Sanctuary. Also the following Saturday, September 11th, I'll be at NYCW. And then September 18th, I'll be at Immortal Championship Wrestling. September 25th, I'll be at Titan Championship Wrestling. And I'll definitely be at the Sanctuary September 12th and 26th. I'm just staring at my calendar, just
oh,
picking them
nice. There
off.
you go.
So,
And one of the longest reigning champions here.
ever.
And how about like your podcast and stuff? Do you want to like say anything about that? Like
Yeah,
any
yeah.
guests coming up?
Well, they're all independent wrestlers, so come check them
Hmm.
out. Like, you may not know them, but like, you'll get to hear their story. You'll get to learn a little bit more about them. You'll get to know them more as like a person, not so much as like their character.
Yeah,
We'll explain their character. Like, it's just kind of how this is right now. Like,
yeah,
I'm not
exactly,
really in character and like being a
exactly.
bully or anything like that. It's just like you get to know the real person. Like,
Yeah.
we get pretty deep sometimes. Like, we get some emotional stories out. But that drops every Tuesday if you want to watch the video. Then the audio drops the very next day. It'll drop on Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, if you look up Moran and Friends on any kind of podcast listening app, I'm on there. I'm actually #1 in Swaziland. So, hey,
All
Swaziland, we love
right.
you. Um,
Sweet.
yeah.
And I usually ask this when I got someone on who
Yeah.
wrestles with, because I know when I was traveling with people there were some crazy stories.
Yeah.
Is there any like crazy road story that you're allowed to say?
Well, see, my problem, I travel alone a lot, and then
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
so there's not many like crazy road stories. I mean, crazy by like funny standard, no. Like, there was one time I drove all the way to Delaware because like I was wrestling Dak Draper of Ring of Honor fame,
Mm-hmm.
and like it was a snowstorm that was coming down. Like, it wasn't on the way down, but on the way back, it was like an absolute nightmare. Like, I was literally riding behind a snowplow like the whole way home. It was terrifying. Like,
Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. But like, as far as like funny road stories, I don't really have any. Like, because a lot of the time I'm traveling by myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I well, I remember one story. I don't know if you remember someone Trent Acid. Like he
yeah,
was,
yeah. I
yeah.
know
That
Trent
was
Acid. Yeah.
that was one of my like closest friends, and of
Oh,
course, he
yeah. I'm
passed
sorry.
on.
Sorry about that.
And I used to travel with him a lot, and
Oh,
we had a very green Sammy Callahan in the car with
oh,
us,
get
and
out.
the whole ride up and back, I felt so bad for Sammy. Trent just busted his balls like the whole entire ride.
Really? That's hilarious.
Just like calling him green and this and that. He says, "Oh, I know the wrestler you're wrestling tonight, and he's stiff." He said he's going to stiff you and knock your teeth out. And I
Oh,
was like, "Oh
really?
my God, yeah." But
That's hilarious.
look at Sammy Callahan now. He's one of
That's right.
he's one of the top stars.
Yeah, yeah. I just recently started watching like old school like CZW. I'm like
Hmm.
so into Justice Payne.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God, like
yeah.
his work was so good. So good.
Oh yeah. I mean that was. I mean it's still good yet, but
Yeah,
I loved it then, like when
yeah,
when Trent was alive, and it was
yeah,
Trent and Johnny were
yeah,
tag team, and you had like Zandig
yeah,
and Nate
yeah,
Hatred and
yeah.
oh, who's the other guy? I'm drawing a
Lobo.
blank on. Yes, yeah, yeah, he was
I
there. And
literally like when I say
sick,
like just
sick, sick Nick Mondo and all
yeah.
them. Yeah,
I literally over COVID like just started watching like the old CZW because like I wasn't into indie wrestling then, so like I've
Well, yeah.
only seen like clips and stuff. So I'm like, I kind of want to know like what progressed to make it that, and like watching that on the IWTV is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's where it all.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
yeah, you could
That
literally
match.
go
Yeah,
back and like watch it all.
yeah, yeah. I forgot all about that. Okay. And where can fans find you at? Like, what's your socials and your podcasts and all that?
My socials are Johnny Moran underscore on Twitter and Instagram. If you're trying to find me on Facebook, if you could go to my like page, it's Johnny Moran the wrestler. Because my inbox gets like filled with people, and I post the same. I literally there is nothing on my actual account compared to my like page that's any different. My like page
Yeah.
is the same damn thing, and you can message me on there too. So you can send me messages through there. Um, and then my YouTube is Johnny Moran the Wrestler. And then my podcast is Moran and Friends. And it drops every Tuesday for video and Wednesday for audio.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show,
Oh,
and
thank you for having me.
definitely, buddy. Like it
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. I always like trying to bring in guys, wrestlers and stuff, because that's what I used to do,
Yeah.
and I love talking wrestling, and
Yeah.
especially if they like horror movies.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
definitely. Of course, of course. Well, definitely have a good night and rest of the week and weekend, and thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah. You too. And again, thank you so much.
Of course.
All right.
All right, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Bye.